Alicia Navarro's background and early life. Alicia Navarro was born on September 20th, 2004, in Glendale, Arizona, where she grew up under the care and guidance of her mother, Jessica Nunez. From a young age, Alicia was diagnosed with high-functioning autism, a condition that influenced the way she processed the world around her and shaped many aspects of her daily life. Her personality was marked by sensitivity, a need for consistency, and a reliance on familiar patterns that gave her comfort and security. Jessica recalled that Alicia preferred routines that remained predictable, offering her a sense of stability. She ate the same foods regularly, often favoring simple meals that brought reassurance rather than variety. Even in the hot Arizona climate, Alicia wore long sleeves each day, creating a personal shield that helped her feel safe and regulated. These choices were not random. They were rooted in the way her condition guided her interactions and her ability to manage sensory experiences. Beyond routines, Alicia found joy in activities that allowed her to remain within her comfort zone. She spent countless hours immersed in video games, particularly Minecraft, a world she could control and shape according to her imagination. Through gaming, Alicia discovered Discord, a platform that became her primary social outlet. There, she felt freer and more capable of connecting with people than she often did in person. Though she had a small circle of friends offline, her mother worried about her vulnerability. Jessica understood that Alicia's reliance on technology and her trusting nature could make her susceptible to outside influence, concerns that grew stronger in the months before her disappearance. Behavioral changes in 2019, Alicia Navarro began displaying noticeable changes in her behavior that contrasted sharply with the routines that had once defined her. Previously quiet and reserved, she started exploring new interests that reflected a shift in her personality. Comic books, makeup, classic rock music, and fitness suddenly captured her attention, interests her mother, Jessica Nunez, believed were influenced by peers at school. Alongside these changes, Alicia also expressed curiosity about more provocative clothing, marking a departure from her long-standing preference for simple and modest attire. Jessica recalled several moments that stood out as signs of this transformation. Alicia asked to visit the mall with older friends, an unusual request given her prior preference for staying home. Around the same time, she sent Discord messages suggesting she wanted to sell her Xbox, signaling an unexpected detachment from one of her most consistent sources of comfort. Even more concerning was her online disclosure to a 20-year-old friend that she had a boyfriend, a statement that raised questions about who she was confiding in and what kind of relationships she was forming online. Jessica's unease deepened when she discovered Alicia sharing personal information with strangers over the internet. To her mother, these interactions represented more than simple teenage experimentation. They suggested vulnerability to outside influence and potentially dangerous grooming. In hindsight, the combination of new interests, shifting social habits, and risky online activity painted a picture of a young girl stepping into unfamiliar territory, leaving behind the sheltered patterns of her earlier years. The day before disappearance on September 14, 2019, the day before she vanished, Alicia Navarro chose not to attend school, telling her mother she felt anxious. Instead, she remained home, where the two spent the day together in a series of small but memorable activities. They ate at McDonald's, one of Alicia's favorite routines, before heading out for errands. Jessica accompanied her daughter to get her eyebrows threaded, a detail that stood out later in memory because Alicia seemed cheerful and pleased with the results. They also visited a chocolate shop where Alicia indulged in treats that she enjoyed, reinforcing Jessica's impression that her daughter's mood was upbeat and positive. Throughout the day, Jessica observed nothing to suggest that Alicia was distressed or planning something unusual. On the contrary, Alicia appeared happy and full of anticipation for her upcoming birthday, which was only days away. She had been talking about plans and seemed eager for the milestone, providing her mother with no reason to suspect that anything troubling was on her mind. That evening, Alicia spent time in her room, staying up late as she often did. She immersed herself in gaming, one of her consistent comforts, chatting online while enjoying the familiar rhythm of play. Around 1 o'clock in the morning, Alicia went downstairs to get a glass of water. Jessica encountered her briefly in the quiet of the house, and during that exchange, Alicia told her mother she loved her. Unbeknownst to Jessica, those words would be the last time she heard her daughter's voice. The day had seemed ordinary, even reassuring, which made the events that followed all the more shocking and incomprehensible. The disappearance, September 15th, 2019, the morning of September 15th, 2019. Jessica Nunez awoke to a chilling discovery. At 7 a.m., she noticed the back door standing open. Outside, chairs had been moved and placed against the fence, forming a makeshift step that appeared to aid someone in climbing over. Her daughter, Alicia Navarro, was gone. Inside the home, a handwritten note was found on Alicia's desk. Scrawled in uneven lettering, it read, "I ran away, sick. I will be back, I swear. I'm sorry." This message immediately became a central piece of evidence in the investigation, raising questions about whether it was written freely or under influence. A review of Alicia's belongings showed that she had taken a few personal items with her. Her laptop, cell phone, body spray, makeup, and a comic book. Yet the absence of essentials, such as chargers for her electronics or a change of clothes, suggested that she did not intend a permanent departure. Her actions appeared inconsistent with a carefully planned runaway attempt. Investigators also noted a hole in her bedroom window screen, an element that suggested a possible secondary exit or a deliberate staging. This discovery deepened uncertainty about whether Alicia had left entirely on her own or whether outside involvement was at play. Authorities issued a silver alert in response to her disappearance, recognizing her vulnerability as a minor with autism. For Jessica and her family, the fear quickly focused on the possibility that Alicia had been lured by an online predator she encountered through Discord or other platforms. What had seemed like an ordinary night only hours earlier now marked the beginning of a desperate search, shadowed by uncertainty and alarm. Witness sightings and early leads in the days immediately following Alicia Navarro's disappearance. Reports of possible sightings emerged across Glendale. The most prominent occurred on September 19th, 4 days after she was last seen at home. At La Pradera Park, several witnesses stated they observed Alicia in conversation with an African-American man. He was described as having tattoos covering his hands, neck, and face, a striking appearance that drew particular attention. The witnesses insisted that the girl strongly resembled Alicia, noting her age and build, and believed the interaction appeared unusual. Jessica Nunez, desperate for answers, went to the park herself to investigate. She searched the grounds, asked questions of people in the area, and attempted to retrace what witnesses had reported. For her, every detail carried weight, each possibility offering a small chance of bringing Alicia home. Authorities soon identified a man who fit the description provided by those who had been in the park that day. In a later sting operation, he was arrested. Despite the initial hopes surrounding this lead, the man denied ever meeting Alicia. Investigators could not establish a confirmed connection between him and the missing teenager, leaving the account unresolved. At the same time, police pursued Alicia's digital trail. Efforts were made to trace her cell phone and laptop activity, but neither produced actionable results. The devices provided no new direction for the investigation. Compounding the family's frustration was the official response. Early on, Alicia was classified as a runaway, a designation that significantly limited the urgency applied to her case. Critical hours slipped away as authorities treated the disappearance as voluntary, even while evidence and witness accounts suggested otherwise. For Jessica, each unconfirmed sighting deepened both hope and heartbreak. The investigation and Jessica's search following Alicia Navarro's disappearance, Jessica Nunez quickly realized that the response from Glendale police lacked the urgency she believed necessary. Frustrated by the pace of the official investigation, she decided to take matters into her own hands. Determined to keep her daughter's face in the public eye, Jessica printed and distributed flyers across the community, determined that no corner of Glendale would remain unaware of Alicia's absence. Her efforts expanded further as she raised funds to rent billboards displaying Alicia's image and information, ensuring that the search would reach beyond local neighborhoods. Recognizing the power of social media, Jessica turned to platforms such as TikTok, using them to spread awareness and appeal directly to the public for help. Through short videos and heartfelt updates, she built an online network of supporters who followed every development. At night, Jessica carried her search into places many would avoid. She visited areas marked by homelessness, drug activity, and prostitution, fearing that Alicia could have been pulled into such dangerous circumstances. These searches exposed her to harsh realities, but reflected her determination to leave no possibility unexplored. Eventually, the FBI became involved, signaling recognition of the case's seriousness. Despite this development, progress remained limited, and no definitive answers emerged. Both investigators and Jessica came to believe that Alicia's disappearance likely stemmed from online grooming, a scenario consistent with her heavy internet use and vulnerability. Years passed with little clarity, yet Jessica's resolve never diminished. Her tireless persistence underscored a mother's refusal to surrender hope, even as the case lingered without resolution. Each step, flyers, billboards, social media campaigns, and dangerous late-night searches, was fueled by the unwavering belief that Alicia's story deserved to be heard and her life protected. Alicia resurfaces in Montana, 2023 in July 2023. Nearly 4 years after her disappearance, Alicia Navarro unexpectedly resurfaced. At 18 years old, she walked into a police station in Havre, Montana, and calmly asked officers to remove her name from the National Missing Persons database. Authorities confirmed she was alive, safe, and in good health. However, her sudden reappearance left more questions than answers, particularly about the years she had spent away from home. Investigators soon uncovered that Alicia had been living with a man identified as 36-year-old Edmund Davis. The revelation drew immediate attention, as Davis was more than twice her age and had no known ties to her family in Arizona. When police raided their shared apartment, Davis attempted to conceal a cell phone by tossing it out of sight. That device later became a critical piece of evidence. Inside the phone, investigators discovered illegal child-related material, which deepened suspicions about Davis's role in Alicia's disappearance and the circumstances of her years in Montana. In October 2023, he was formally arrested on felony charges, facing allegations that tied him directly to criminal activity. Following the raid, Davis and Alicia relocated to the Fort Belknap Indian Reservation. This move further complicated the timeline of her life after leaving Glendale, raising new questions about how long she had been under Davis's control and whether others might have been involved. Although Alicia was confirmed safe, the details surrounding her years away remained unclear. Her return marked a turning point in the case, shifting the narrative from a missing child investigation to a broader inquiry into exploitation, secrecy, and survival. The discovery of Davis's crimes cast a shadow over the fragile relief her reappearance initially brought. Alicia resurfaces in Montana, 2023 in July 2023. The case of Alicia Navarro took an unexpected turn. At 18 years old, Alicia walked into a police station in Havre, Montana. She requested that officers remove her name from the National Missing Persons list, where she had remained for nearly 4 years. The moment marked the first confirmation that Alicia was alive. Authorities verified that she appeared safe, healthy, and physically unharmed. Yet the details of her years in absence remained unclear. The initial relief of her reappearance was quickly tempered by the discovery of troubling circumstances. Investigators learned that Alicia had been living with 36-year-old Edmund Davis, a man more than twice her age. The situation raised immediate red flags, particularly given the nature of her disappearance as a minor. Police moved swiftly to investigate Davis and search the residence he shared with Alicia. During the raid, officers observed Davis attempting to conceal a cell phone by trying to discard it from view. That single device proved crucial. When analyzed, the phone revealed evidence of illegal child-related material. The discovery shifted the investigation from relief over Alicia's safe return to serious criminal suspicion directed at Davis. The evidence tied him not only to possession of unlawful material but also suggested potential exploitation. In October 2023, Davis was formally arrested on multiple felony charges. His age, proximity to Alicia, and the contents of his phone placed him at the center of the investigation. Authorities began piecing together how Alicia had come to live with him and what influence he may have exerted over her during the years she remained missing. Shortly after the raid, Davis and Alicia relocated to the Fort Belknap Indian Reservation. The move complicated jurisdictional oversight, further obscuring the timeline of Alicia's life after leaving Glendale. The decision to move so soon after law enforcement intervention raised additional questions about Davis's intentions and the extent of control he may have exercised. Although Alicia's reappearance ended years of uncertainty for her family, the circumstances surrounding her return presented a new phase of the investigation. The discovery of Davis's criminal activity cast doubt over the nature of her absence and forced authorities to confront the possibility that she had not simply disappeared voluntarily, but had instead been manipulated and exploited. Her case now represented both the fragile relief of survival and the troubling reality of what may have occurred during her years away. The ongoing case and unanswered questions, Alicia. Navarro's reappearance in 2023 brought an end to the uncertainty surrounding her whereabouts, but it did not bring closure to the questions surrounding her disappearance. While her safe return was a relief to her family, investigators and the public were left to grapple with how she came into contact with Edmund Davis, a man significantly older than her, and what role he may have played in her absence. The circumstances of their meeting remain unknown, leaving a gap in understanding how an ordinary teenager from Glendale, Arizona, came to live hundreds of miles away in Montana. One of the central uncertainties is whether Alicia was coerced, groomed, or manipulated over time. Investigators acknowledge that her young age at the time of her disappearance made her vulnerable to online predators. The evidence against Davis, particularly the discovery of illegal content on his phone, suggests the possibility of exploitation. Yet Alicia herself has provided few public details. Her silence has left critical aspects of the case unanswered. For her mother, Jessica, the years of searching have transformed into advocacy. She continues to warn families about the dangers of online grooming, particularly through gaming platforms and social media forums where predators seek to exploit trust. Jessica's efforts now extend beyond her daughter's case, serving as a cautionary message to other parents and communities. The case of Alicia Navarro remains unresolved in its larger truths. Though she has been located and confirmed safe, the unanswered questions about her disappearance and the years spent away endure. The ongoing investigation into Davis may provide more insight, but for now, the story reflects both the persistence of a mother's search and the sobering reminder of risks faced by vulnerable young people online.